This is Scott coming to you from Way of the Dad podcast on a quick, pretty hastily put together video. I wanted to address the recent firing of Bob Chapek and the reinstalling of Bob Iger as CEO of Disney. I made a post on Midnight's Edge, kind of bemoaning this unexpected change a little bit, saying that I think, well, apparently woke isn't going anywhere for a while. But after having slept on it, and I've thought about it a little more, I have a different thought process. Now, I still think, and I tend to agree with Andre, I watched your video that you posted this morning. I tend to think that the most likely outcome will probably be that all of the mass firings that were going to happen are not going to happen, that woke is going to be fortified, and all of this stuff that we have been hating coming out of Disney for a while now will just continue. Even though Bob Chapek has greenlit virtually none of what we've seen, he's going to be the fall guy for this. I think that is the most likely. Well, I don't know. So this is what I really want to get to, and I guess this is what I'm struggling with, because I think if we're looking at it on a very surface basis, then anybody could say that, yep, woke is here to stay, it's going to be refortified, we're going to get more and more and more and more. But with the kind of people that we're dealing with here, these aren't people that are, some of them are ideological, sure, but I don't think Bob Iger actually is. I think all of the stuff that he set in place that, of course, caused Chapek to lose his job was simply because he thought that's what was going to get him elected, or get him a heck of a run towards the presidency in 2020. And of course, COVID happened, so none of that happened. It really threw things for a loop and everything else. And then maybe there was a bit of a coup getting Bob Iger out. But I really cannot shake this feeling that all of the things that Bob Chapek was about to do, Bob Iger will end up doing most of it. And I'm being extraordinarily cynical here. But this cynical side of me just tells me that he's been angling to get back in. Chapek is going to be eventually going to be pinned as the fall guy. All of this economic downturn, all of these bad projections, these bad financial forecasts and things of that nature will be pinned on Chapek, even though almost all of this was left by Bob Iger when he left. Because most things, especially on the entertainment side, they don't come out. They don't come out for 2, 3, 4 years sometimes. And Bob Iger just left the board like a year ago, maybe just a little more than a year ago. So he was still technically in charge even when Bob Chapek was CEO, because he controlled the board. So Chapek's had his hands tied behind his back most of the time he's been there. This isn't like Elon Musk or David Zaslav, because nobody bought Disney and comes in and cleans house. He was just the new CEO. He still has to do whatever the board tells him to do. So I'm going to be extremely cynical here. I think that Bob Iger will come in and clean house, pinning all of this on Chapek, even though almost everybody he's going to fire or minimalize or marginalize or shove over into the corner room on basement B2 is all because of Iger, but he's going to pin it on Chapek. That's going to be the public line. It's going to be Chapek's fault because there's just too many people that didn't want Chapek long term. Now, saying all that, I don't think some of the firings are going to be what Chapek would have done. I think Kevin Feige will survive. I do still think that Kathleen Kennedy will be given the most golden of golden parachutes you've ever seen. I mean, there will be parades thrown in her honor and everything. She will be very quietly let go, but it'll be like it was her choice and it was time to move on and all of this stuff. But I do think that Bob Iger will effectively end up doing more or less what Chapek was going to do, but Chapek was going to be much more brutal and much more, or much less, careful around certain people and certain areas. I think Kevin Feige will stay, but they'll restructure drastically underneath him. I think Kathleen Kennedy will be, given the greatest send-off you've ever seen, which will make me want to vomit, but she will. And then, Lucasfilm will quietly start to go in a better direction, because the thing is you don't bring in anybody, whether it's Bob Iger or anybody else, you don't make a change this drastic unless you need to get things turned around really quick. And Disney is in really bad financial condition at the moment. Pixar and Disney Animation, I assume those will start to get back to maybe core stuff they used to do back in the day where it was just very family friendly. I don't think woke will go 100% away, but I do think it's going to be minimized to some degree or another, or at least to a more palatable degree for the general going audience. Maybe people in the know or people who are really keen to it will still notice it, but it won't be the slap in your face type stuff that we've been getting. It'll be toned down, it'll be much more subtle. That's the cynical take for me. And I just cannot shake that I think that this is what it's going to be. So Andre, speaking directly to Andre, I saw your video and I heard what you said near the end, and I tend to agree, but there's this cynical side of me that just will not let go of that other less likely possibility being maybe actually the most likely possibility. It would ring true. It would give him the national, since he's only back for a couple years, it'll give him all of the clout he was looking for, maybe even poise him for a 2024 run. I know they said 2 years, but if he has someone in place within one, he can leave the company and start running almost immediately. But if he can turn this thing around in a year and get someone in who will take over after that, and then he can run, I think he still has presidential ambition. So I think this is all designed to, he's going to basically come in and do what Chapek was going to do, but he's going to get all the credit for it. He's going to look like gold again. He's going to have that pristine shininess to his national persona again, and he's going to position himself for a presidential run while Bob Chapek takes the fall, even though Bob Chapek might have done mostly what he was going to do, probably a little more bluntly and cut a little deeper. But I think this is all set up for Bob Iger to return to national prominence, look like the savior, even though he's literally saving the company from what he did to destroy it, because that's what he thought. I think this is a guy who looks at the flag post to see which way it's waving before he opens his mouth to speak. I don't think he believes in woke so much as he just thought that's where things were going, so that's where we'll go. And now the winds are changing, and so he's going to change with it and act like this was just all Bob Chapek and his mismanagement. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up with that, but that's what I think. And like I said, even though I know that the logical surface explanation is woke is here to stay, they'll double down, triple down, quadruple down on woke and everything else, I really don't think so, because woke is killing the company. This cynical side of me will not let go of this thought. So love to hear what you think. If you like what you're hearing from Way of the Dad podcast, hit that subscribe button, like the video, please share it, and yeah, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments, and hit me up. Let's have a chat. Until next time, take care and have a great day.